My life's like a soundtrack. I wrote to the beat. My life's like a soundtrack. I wrote to the beat.
Hey, it's Thunder Walker with the Thunder Walker Experience, and it's day four. And we keep giving you more and more information through the Smoke Currency Tour. And so I'm really, really excited to be here in New Jersey, AC.
Atlantic City. AC.
Yes. See, I think I'm part of the family now. I'm just calling it AC for short, you know. I'm all in. But this tour has been really, really different because for me, I'm learning so much about the whole entire history of this plant and what it's like selling it, producing it, growing it, everything that's happening here. And there's a lot of things that are happening with some stalemates. There's a lot of things that's happening in legislation. And I want to know all about it. So with me today, I have Miguel coming back strong. But then he also brought his friend, business partner, Chris.
How you doing?
Chris Aponte. I got it. Chris Aponte. But let me just tell you, when I met these guys, I just really felt like, hey, this is family. And then when he brought his friend over, I was like, well, you know, who are you? What's up? I wanted to get on camera today and just kind of talk with him and find out what's holding you guys back. I saw the beautiful space that Miguel walked me through. It was absolutely gorgeous. Everything is set for you to win. So tell me what's going on with the business, AC Leaf, and just kind of explain it to me.
So, we have AC Leaf. We're an annual license holder with a cure right now. Mm-hmm. We have to do a cure for zoning. Although we got a resolution for the property because of the lack of understanding or the municipalities not understanding like what they're doing. You would think it was easy for me to get a zoning letter because I got the resolution. That's the hardest part, right? But it ended up becoming the zoning part become harder. So we had to go and pay all this money to do a zoning variance or whatsoever in order to prove to them that a dispensary in this location is not a bad thing, that it's a good thing for this location. Most people they think that if you have a dispensary in your neighborhood that you're going to have this big drug scene, not realizing that you have more of a drug scene at a bar than you do at a dispensary. When you go to dispensaries, people are not smoking outside. Right? They're not smoking weed outside because you have cops out there directing traffic. You have security out there running people off. All the lights is bright. So you're going to go in there, buy your, cannabis, and you're going to leave.
It's controlled.
It's controlled. Unlike a bar where you're going to, drink, go outside, crack a blunt, roll up, smoke real quick. So most communities who don't realize that you're going to have cannabis there one way or another. I can understand if there was no bar. But in our location, it was a former bar. So not only that, it's zoned for pharmacy. So you could open up pharmacy and sell Percocets there, but we can't sell recreational cannabis. And so we had to prove to them that we were a better use, and it's working in our favor. We just got to wait for the day to come, which is the 30th. But that's just a big issue when it comes to New Jersey of just not knowing what one hand is doing with the other hand. For instance, the city's promoting for smoke lounges, but at the same time, we just signed a Clean Air Act bill that doesn't allow indoor smoking no more. So why is the city promoting for us to have an indoor, spend the money to build that out and just to go to the state to get your license just to get denied?
I see.
And that costs us money. These mistakes that these government officials are making is not necessarily the government officials, but the people that they elect, the committees that they elect. Like, I understand that why we'll pick someone in the legacy market to be a part of the committee and all, but it can't just be all of them just that. You have to actually have some real people who know how to make laws, how does law work. Someone who's very educated in the space, because if you have a committee of a bunch of people who used to have felonies and they're in the cannabis market and they know about the drugs, but how do they know about policy? How do they know how to create laws that pass? That's the tool. So I think that's something that needs to be, the government officials need to get a little more involved and stop being scared just because of election seasons and stuff like that.
We should all work alongside each other, because why would we try to incriminate these legacy guys when you can go on the CRC website and there is a application for these legacy operators? Like they're first on the ballot as well. They also have felonies and stuff, and they should fall under the social equity umbrella as well, just to help them transition over to the legal market. Like we could all work alongside each other. I seen it done in Philadelphia when the senators were sitting with legacy guys, social equity, all in the same room at Temple University. At that, it's a prestigious college. So we can do that across the board nationwide, but we got to start with our community. And we shouldn't shun away nobody that's trying to go legal and pay taxes back to our own community we all grew up in.
Yeah, I think it should. The legacy market should really, really be embraced as they come over into the legal market. I think it's really important for us to truly understand what is needed. I love the fact that you guys did a highest and best use study on the property. That is definitely part of cannabis real estate, part of the green zone. And the green zone is growing across the country. So when you talk about finding the correct property, hey, this property was once a bar. So you already had somewhat of an area that had adult use. And then it's also was zoned for a pharmacy. This should have been like a no-brainer, in my opinion, on why this property is the right one. And it definitely is the right one. It's just getting people to understand and giving them the education. I truly believe that if someone is able to sit on a board that has to do with cannabis in the city, they should be able to have some type of training up front from legacy and also in the business sector of cannabis so they can understand what's going on. And it's not a quick fix. It really, really isn't. But you have to be willing to learn.
I mean, but then also the fact that the people in the city government don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
And they only learning from our questions that we're bringing up. You know, just like the smoking, question, right? It's okay. They signed a Clean Air Act bill. What do we do? Oh, well, we didn't think about that. So then they go back and they have the committees and they talk and then they come up with a policy. And then we say, okay, you're not like, for instance, you can't, if you have a lounge, you can't smoke. I mean, you can't sell any alcohol, of course, there, and you can't sell any food there. You have to bring food in. To me, unfortunately, that reminds me of a crack house. You know what I'm saying? Crack houses, you went there, smoked your drugs and just left. There was no food, no water, no nothing. There was just lighters and things. So that's kind of what they're trying to promote, to say, okay, here's your lounge where you can come and smoke at, but you can't do anything else here. It's like, that don't even make sense. It should be, you should at least be able to sell food. You know what I'm saying? Now you got a bunch of people who are consuming a certain product that might need some, I can understand the alcohol, right? Mixing the alcohol, but some states are allowing it. I'm not 100% sure. I think New York is allowing a little bit of smoking in the same facility of bars. I'm not 100% sure.
What happens when you get cotton mouth?
Right.
Exactly. You got to order everything because you can't serve anything and you can't have your business next to a bar either. It can't be connected to a bar. So that's why we had to shut our bar totally down and, off the liquor license, sell the liquor license, because they couldn't even have a liquor license on that property.
So, and you can't even be next to it. I think that part limits the whole scope of what you're trying to do here. And when you say adult use, and let's just be honest, AC, Atlantic City, you already have your casinos. You can drink in the casinos. You already have your adult places that you can go to. I think putting that much limitation on the cannabis space makes it where you're doing only one thing there, and you have to really want to know what type of population are you trying to attract.
Yeah.
I love it when I go to different states and they have people that are they're reading, or they have their computers working, or they're meeting up with friends and having a social time. And that's, in my particular state, we can be next to a bar. But if they want to work on that, what would be the compromise in your mind?
I think it would more or less having a group discussion and seeing, looking at the data, because I do agree that if it's not although it's adult use, if you're getting someone intoxicated and high, I would imagine that other things are going to happen, right? So, I would just look at the data, and then, when it comes to the alcohol sharing, that's not really a big fight for me, because it's alcohol is two different things. So it's a little different than gambling and drinking. You're not putting none in your body, you're just spending your money, where
Right.
you're actually consuming two different products. But on the food side, I think that needs to just get taken out. I think they need to allow restaurants to do infused products, let smoke lounges serve food there. That way people could be safe, they could eat there, they could social there, they could socialize, they can have a coffee, things like that. I think that should be a compromise. Was like, let us get the food, and we'll continue not open near bars and stuff like that. But then, how far are you going to be away from a bar if this section is designated adult use, right? So it's like, okay, I can understand not being connected to a bar, but if I'm across the street from a bar, that shouldn't be an issue.
It should not be an issue. And I think the one thing that they're going to have to do is to trust their citizens and not shame their citizens, and keep the stigma going if they really want to have adult use. Because my understanding is that most apartment complexes, most places that you lease, most Airbnbs, you can't smoke inside of those places where they live. So they have to actually have some place to be able to consume that's safe. Especially as a woman, you really want to be safe as a woman. I want to be able to consume in a public space that I can speak to my girlfriends, I can talk to different people, and I feel safe. Yet and still, it's more difficult for me to just go and stand on a corner somewhere and smoke. I don't think it's fair, and I don't think it's safe for people.
In a lot of cities, you're not allowed to smoke. It's just like a beer. You have to be indoors. You can't be walking around with an open container.
Public place.
Something you can't do the same thing with marijuana. You can't walk around with smoking a blunt legally.
Okay, so where is it that they can, if they don't create that space for someone, where could they smoke? Like right now, where can people smoke?
At this current time, legally, you can only smoke in your home or in other people's homes. You can't smoke in no commercial buildings, and there is no lounges for you to smoke at. So you literally can only smoke in your home legally.
Wow. And if you're in an apartment complex that's no smoking, then guess what? You don't smoke.
Yeah, because, apartment. See, I have a real estate background, so I understand a lot of the real estate dynamic when it comes to insurances. Your insurance premium is higher. If somebody's smoking anything in your house and it burns, you just lost all that income of being able to rent it again for the next days. So I could understand, other people's properties, but your own property. And I do agree that we should have more areas, to be able to smoke locally, for those reasons, for social reasons, instead of just only being able to smoke in your home. Because how can you say it's a social drug when you got to be by yourself?
Right, exactly. And what I think is really, really cool that we've been studying is just what makes this product such a great product going through the legal side. And that's the safety that I believe is important, because you have your certificate of analysis. So like if I come to your spot, I know exactly what I'm getting because I can trust, because you've already got your certificate of analysis. So they have to put some things in place to actually help us, the citizens, to be in a safe spot and to actually have that opportunity. What if it's our first time deciding that we want to try cannabis, and I am coming to New Jersey as a tourist, right? Yeah. And so I want to make sure that there's some place that I can go and smoke, and I can't smoke in my hotel.
You can't, right now you can't smoke anywhere.
Right.
So, question. Are the rules the same for medical as far as where you smoke?
Yes.
They are.
Yeah.
Wow.
You can't smoke cannabis anywhere outside. Right now, we're speaking with the city of Atlantic City to see if we could create a designated beach area. Because of the Clean Air Act bill, is actually something that we could push in our favor. Because, we can't smoke indoors, then give us a designated outdoor sector. Plus, if you don't want to have your cops wasted to run the boardwalk up and down chasing people to stop smoking, if you give a designated area like on the beach to say, okay, this is a smoking area for cannabis, then what happens is you can raise the fines up a lot higher than when one or two cops snatch somebody up and they got $1,000 fine. That'll send shockwaves, and people will be like, okay, because I understand, like, for the boardwalk perspective, being a business owner, we want families, right? So no different than I don't want to take my kid to a boardwalk where everyone's smoking cigarettes and cigars. The 4-year-old child don't want to be exposed to that type of stuff. So we should have a designated area. And then at the same time, we have a clean boardwalk, but a designated sector for people, adults, to be able to, again, you have a designated beach bars where you can serve alcohol, right? So it should be a similar thing, nothing permanent because it's on the beach, so something that's removable, right? No different than the beach bars are removable, but I think something like that would be a big plus for Atlantic City, because then now people who come to New Jersey be like, oh, let's go to Atlantic City because I could go to that beach or I could go to that part of the town and I could smoke socially outside.
I think that's so important. I want to ask you guys a question and let me know. You can give me a roundabout number. How long has cannabis been legal for adult use in the state of Jersey?
2 years now.
2 years. Recreational for 2 years. Last year in 2022, about how much cannabis do you think was sold for adult use?
What is the numbers was somehow couple
Almost 200.
300 and something million dollars.
$300 and something million. Well, if there's no designated place to smoke, where do you think we smoked it at? I mean, what happened? Where do y'all think?
Yeah, you smoke it in your car. You smoke everywhere where you're not allowed to smoke. But I think it's becoming just like a jaywalking ticket, right? Where everybody jaywalks, but the cops ain't gonna really spend his time to lock you up for jaywalking. So I think it's more cops not wanting to waste their time, because if they wanted to waste their time, they definitely got the people to waste their time on.
So what you're saying is last year there was over $300 million spent on adult use cannabis, and people had to smoke it in their car, or you're forcing your citizens to do something that's illegal. Right. So you got to make these changes, and you got to make changes that make sense. So I totally agree with you. And then especially for people that's coming here, that's tourism, because, heads and beds for all those people that own hotels, things like that. That's where they're getting some of their traffic from. All of a sudden it's adult use, it's legal. So what are we going to do?
But,
right?
We as citizens have to also make sure that it's not a funnel for insurance companies to push for it not to be designated, so we can go out and do these illegal things, smoke in our cars and stuff, and then get pulled over. Now you got your DUIs, and you got to pay more money for your insurance and your premium. So it's almost like there's probably a little bit of that, in the thought process. Is because it's like, okay, well, we're going to legalize marijuana, so it's going to be less arrests. So how can we still get this income that was coming off of it? Okay, well, let's, just like alcohol, they're going to drink and they're going to drive. We'll snatch them when we need to make budgets. So we got to not make sure that we're not allowing our government to create those situations for us to be going across.
They lobbying against us, man. All them big guys, from big pharma
the insurance
to
companies.
the alcohol, insurance companies. They're somewhere backdoor doing something to try and slow our roll on the legalization of cannabis. I know everybody sees that.
And to be able to remove the stigma. Who do you need to help push this through for you guys? I mean, you're business owners. You understand the plant. You understand the market. You understand your city. You understand your state. Who do you guys need on your side?
You need the highest sheriff, the highest person in town. That's the governor.
That's right.
That would be the governor. The governors of people's states will be the ones that could leverage the most power, because they could just pick up the phones and get things done.
All right. So I'm going to finish this up, and then I want them to understand where to find you guys at. We touched on a lot of stuff. We touched on the real estate. We touched on legacy, the legal. We touched on policy making, all of those things. And that's why it's so important to tune into the Smoke Currency Tour, but also to give people like this, business owners, American citizens that are trying to create things legally. You told us what you need. You needed the governor. Tell us one other thing that I want everybody to understand. When did this become your dream? When did this fight that you have been in, this struggle, this push, this staying up late at night, tell me, when did you say, hey, I'm all in, I'm pushing in my chips?
Well, my passion is real estate. I do commercial real estate. I develop properties, commercial properties. Because of the real estate that I have and I own, my friend Miguel was like, hey, we should do cannabis. And at first I was like, whatever, because I was kind of over it. because I had caught, my charges, felony, which I'm expunged now, but I had caught those charges when I was a kid that, blocked me from a lot of opportunities.
You got an expungement, though.
And so when I got into real estate, I kind of was just like, had a tunnel vision to what I wanted to do. And then one day I'm laying in my bed and I thought about what he said, and I just thought about, again, all the years that they did rob me for having a felony for cannabis. And I said, damn, now the state wants to make money off of the same reasons why I needed money.
Right.
So I said, you know what? I'm in. So then I told Miguel I'm in, and we started to, really put the time in and do the paperwork, do the SOPs, do all the talking, all the searching, travel to different states, touring different dispensaries. And I submitted for the annual license. I put up one of the properties. We put together AC Leaf, and, that's what it became. I just woke up one day. It's probably about, a year, 11 months now,
Almost
or
2 years.
13, or closer to 2 years, right? About 2 years has been since that day that I woke up and said, you know what? They owe me.
They owe you.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. That's what I was waiting on. That's what I was waiting on, Christopher, because they owe you.
Yep.
They owe each and every one of us that has had a situation based off the war on drugs and how it's changed our family and changed lives, changed children, changed economic issues. Your background is in commercial real estate. So do you have your license and you also purchase and own? Are you a landlord?
I used to have my license, but I gave it up. I'm just an investor and owner now of properties. Me and my partners just acquired ACX1 Studios, which is the former Playground Pier. It's connected to the Caesars Casino, as well as a lot of land that I have around town. So that's what I mainly do. I develop properties out. I don't carry a license. I don't need it no more.
The show don't.
Because I don't necessarily run around showing people properties for houses. I more or less give people opportunity, and I provide them the real estate.
I love that. I love that. Where can we find you guys on social media? I know, first of all, the trunk and treat.
Yeah.
That was really, really cool. I learned about that. Tell me where we can find you guys.
Well, I got an Instagram. It's C Aponte. That's APONTE 609. And you can look up the property, ACX1Studios.com. That's where you can find me at.
Awesome.
You can also go on acleaf2ease.com. acleaf2ease_NJ. The company page. If you want to check out my cannabis journey page, it's 2elevated TOOELEVATED.AC. You already know.
I'm so grateful that you guys are here talking with me, and you just talking about the opportunities that you're providing for people. Every state is different, but when you come into the cannabis ecosystem, this is what you find. You find this unity, you find this synergy, and it becomes bigger, in my opinion, than it becomes bigger than the actual person. The plan is something that's just extra special. And so I'm Thunder Walker with the Thunder Walker Experience. This is the Smoke Currency Tour, and I wouldn't want to be anyplace else but in the AC.